Okay, the acrylic medium that we did that first red in is pretty dry already, so I'm gonna go ahead and do some sgraffito just to see what it looks like and whether or not it fires really crisply on her. Alright, so I really do like the Copaiba aniseed oil, just about the best here for everything. So I think I'm going to try a few more colors where the other wonderful thing about the Mason stains is that you can mix them. So if the color's not here that you want, you just mix them. And it's going to be Zeneb Harvey, like in Harvey the Rabbit, where you're going to get these Mason stains, because the Mason stains that she sells are the ones that are already the tried and true Martha Banya's preferred Mason stains. So, all of the experimentation's already been done. You know that the colors that you're going to get from her are going to be good ones. All right. I can't help it. Okay, I'll quit. So I'm going to go set this on top of the kiln to dry because it has to be completely dry or these oils will spread out when you fire them, and we want them to stay exactly where we put them. And I may even, after it's dry, do a little bit of sgraffito in some of these oily areas and see what I get. I don't think that this one's dry enough to do that yet. Nope, it's not. It's still wet. So, okay. So that's one of the nice things about the acrylic medium is that it dries very quickly. So, alright, I'm going to go stick this next to the kiln. That's what we've got. Okay, so I've fired this test now at 1450 degrees for 2.5 minutes. I fired it until I had put a little pile of G110 flux up here in the corner, and I fired it until that little pile of flux was fired. So that's how I knew that my enamels were fused to maturity. So the results on this look really good. The test, what we're trying to match is Nina Mia's L110. And we're trying to match that to other opaque whites. As far as being a suitable base for oxides or mason stain painting. So basically underglazes. And I've written a whole page of notes here about each one of these things because I'm going to be covering this with other materials and firing it again so that we can see what happens with it. But I wanted to document what it looks like right now because it's important that the marks that I've made on here stay very crisp and that they don't start to bleed out. And I want to know at what point they start to bleed out. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some more marks like this in other places here so that when I start doing some of the other tests on here, that I will be able to test for this crispness that I have going on in this area here. I want to be able to see what that's going to look like. So, anyway, okay, so that's what I'm going to do next, and I'll meet you guys back here. Now this plate has been fired a second time since I introduced the oxides. And 5 of the 5 different colors I can eliminate, mostly due to them being too soft fusing, and so there's some breakthrough and some blurring of the colors. The integrity of the reds has stayed good on top of all of them, so that's something that we're also looking at. So far, the winners are the test store. The L101 is what we're shooting for. The number 10 is looking great. The number 16 is looking great. The number H101 is looking great. And which other one was it was the or the 10K also is looking really good. But N2, Ninomiya N2, Ninomiya NG302. We can eliminate both of those. We can eliminate 10H and 10F. We can eliminate H198. So there you have it so far. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sift some G110 into the center area, and that G110 is a color that, or is a flux that is a Nihon Shippo, and so I want to see what that flux does over the over all of these mason stains and oxides. All right, to get this set up, I'm going to put a piece of 3x5 card on top of the area at the top that I don't want any of the G110 on, and I'm going to put a similar situation on the bottom because I also don't want the G110 there. I want to test 2 other fluxes in those 2 places. And I'm going to use a 150 mesh sifter, and I am not going to use any adhesive or any moisture. I'm just going to sift this dry. So of course, with the anytime that you're going to do any sifting, you're going to be wearing a mask. So if I sound a little muffled now, that's because I have a mask on. Okay. I'm going to lift off my stencils. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and fire this like this. Alright, so I have fired a layer of G110 just in the center, oops, here we go, just in the center of this plate now. There's no flux over top of the top half, there's no flux over the over the bottom third or top third, just in the center. And that was the G110, and everything's holding up pretty well still. The ones that were holding up are still holding up, except for number 16, which is that ivory color, and it's starting to see a little bit of breakthrough. So it's probably not going to be a really good opaque to put under Mason stains and oxides, which is too bad because it's always nice to have a little bit of ivory. Okay, so at this point I'm going to sift on some N1 across the top half, top third. N1 is the Nina Mia. Okay. And I'm going to sift some Hirasawa S1, S is in Sam 1, over the bottom third. Alright, and I'm going to take off the stencil. And we're going to fire that. Oh, looks good. Okay. Well, this was such an instructive little exercise that I did here. The findings that I have of what I believe works the best for this is that the Nihon Shippo 10K, which is the one that's right under here, is far and away the best one. It holds up well under multiple firings. The colors are true on it. It's even better than the L101, which was our case study. That one, the oxide, the OC50, the black oxide, has a slightly green cast to it. It also, the number 10 Nihon Shippo, that same one has a slightly green cast, but the 10K is stayed really crisp and nice. And the 10K is good under all three fluxes, the Nina Mia, the Nihon Shippo, and the Hirasawa fluxes. The H101 Hirasawa is excellent in all respects, except under the Nihon Shippo G110 flux. There was a slight crackle to it. I think it's a little bit harder fusing than the than the H101, which is a Hirasawa. So that the Hirasawa 101 under either the Nina Mia flux or the Hirasawa flux is excellent also. So so we have a couple of different options for painting with Mason stains and having the integrity of the underglazes and overglazes stay good. So that was a day's work. I like that.